tonight, our focus is empowerment. And as I thought about what that word represents for me, for my daughters, and for you, I realized that despite our attempts to do or say something new, we can't reinvent what has always been true. In every community throughout history, a reality we've known all along, that women have always been strong. But when we read the stories mankind has inventoried, we see women missing from some categories. Not because they were not there, but because those who wrote the books didn't care to look or maybe just took for granted the other half of humanity. They focused instead on what man did. And yes, he did do and make and think some amazing things. But in addition to men, sometimes seen and sometimes leading, but more often than not behind the scenes, in mundane tasks, in ordinary routines, without recognition, and in lower positions were women. Women carrying the weight of generations, women breaking expectations and bucking at limitations, women in every location and facet of civilization, shifting organizations and movements and nations. Women have always been there in both the ordinary and extraordinary. Weathering storms, enduring scorn, they've worn their stories like a crown, standing their ground even when others insist they don't belong. Their presence persists like a song that reminds us you don't have to be seen to be strong. See, sometimes we get all mixed up with this. We forget what true strength is. Our culture wants to convince us that power is given. The myth is that recognition should be our ambition, and popularity should decide our position. Like, if you can just be thin enough or have the right skin and all the stuff advertisers spend mega bucks trying to put their spin on, then you'll have all the power and finally win. But the truth is, and has always been, that real strength comes from within. You don't need to be an influencer to influence. You don't need a platform to form and shape lives. You don't need to wait until you make a certain salary or burn off all the calories or get your name in galleries. You don't have to tout your followers to prove you have power, because you already do. You have authority in your life and in the lives of those around you. You can choose to make something new. You can shift culture as you create and cultivate what's already been entrusted to you. Like a rock thrown into a pond, your life drops in and sends ripples across the top. And whether you see it or not, this is the truth. You matter. I hope you understand it's not just what you do, though that counts too. That smile at the grocery clerk, or when you chose not to be a jerk when somebody hurt you, your loyalty to friends, your gumption to see things through to the end. It's so good. But it's not just your actions this world needs, because what happens if you can't do it all perfectly, or inadvertently you make some big mistake? The world won't fall apart if you do. So it's kind of a catch-22. You matter so much, but it's not all about you. Those who display true strength, who have the capacity to make great change, are those who know their worth and bestow that same value to others. They push aside their fears to focus on their brother's tears. Their concern isn't fame or staking claims or making a name for themselves, because they've shifted their perspective. Loving their neighbor is the objective. Instead of pushing an agenda, they extend a hand. Instead of whining about not getting what they deserve, they serve willingly, and even especially when it hurts. They observe those around them and then have the nerve not just to step in, but step down into the muck to face what others might want to tuck away in some dark hidden cave. Real strength is not who's tougher. It's a willingness to go to places you know you will suffer, but you do it anyway for the sake of another. See, to be empowered is not just the antonym of being a coward, because there are some days when you alone know your strength. Like when you get out of bed, even though you'd rather not face what lies ahead, and no one will ever see how much it cost you to pull back the sheets and stand on your 2 feet. But in those moments, when you refuse defeat, you join in the chorus of those women who've gone before us and sing that secret song, "When we are weak, we are strong." Because strength is also when you're overwhelmed and you reach out for help and say, I can't do this by myself. There is power in both giving and receiving, and it's only in this interweaving of our lives that we find our purpose and meaning. So don't give up. Whatever you do, don't let those lies about power mislead you. Remember your value and live from this truth that she and I and all of us need you.